Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.
Hi, I'm Ron Kinscherf with Muddy River News. This is a Business Spotlight brought to you by Mercantile Bank. We have some Adams experts with us, Darlene Schuermann and Gabriel Forrester. Gabriel, you're the supervisor of the experts, I guess, right?
Yep.
So what I wanted to talk to you guys about is we still hear about breaches. We still hear about ransomware and all that type of stuff. So is that still, I'm assuming it's still a major problem out there. And are you seeing situations in our community?
Absolutely.
That takes place?
It's something that happens across all industries. It's not necessarily just the big businesses that it's hit with. In fact, a lot of people are noticing that the smaller businesses are being targeted because there's less of an infrastructure to protect them in some cases.
I think what a lot of people don't understand is that it's not necessarily, I'm going after this guy specifically, but it's more of a random hit, correct?
Right. It just is kind of like a large scale, just get all of the bots and programs out there that will attack just everybody, and we'll see what happens. We'll see who we get through, what systems we can get into, and then do something about those.
So what can people do to help protect themselves? Because I do think that there's a lot of smaller businesses that think that, why would they go after me? I don't have the cash that some of the larger ones have. Yes. But they're just as susceptible, obviously. So are there steps they can take to help mitigate that stuff from happening?
Yes, I think from...
we'll let you talk a little bit, Darlene.
from a good place to start would be a cyber liability insurance, because those forms and those procedures in place are a good framework for you need these things, these controls need to be in place. And it's a great place to start for building a structure that will protect the company from things you're not going to be understanding what those things are. And that's a good framework to build that protection.
Go ahead.
What we generally see is small businesses that, are local or in the tri-states, they typically start out doing what they do. They're fixing cars or they're a dentist or whatever, and that's what they want to do. But then they have this whole infrastructure now that they have to manage where they've got data and they've got financial data and all those kind of things. So that's where we kind of come in, is we come in and we do kind of a site evaluation or evaluate their business, and we can help them with things like antivirus and vulnerability scanning and things that they don't necessarily know where they're vulnerable. We can help them plug those security holes.
So I think the one thing that's interesting about the insurance aspect of this is a lot of people don't understand that it's protecting yourself against the cost or the money that goes out, but it's also protects yourself about the cost to fix the problem. And sometimes there's marketing issues that you have to deal with and legal issues and stuff like that I think a lot of businesses don't understand.
Absolutely.
So as far you mentioned vulnerabilities. For those who don't know, what exactly is a vulnerability that could occur in a small business?
It could be using the same password over and over. It could be
the one person or the entire, I guess everybody, right?
Yeah,
everybody, yes. If you put the same password on all of your, your Gmail accounts and all of your apps out there and that kind of thing, that hackers typically will figure that out. And then they can get into your business accounts from there, things like that. So just starting at the basics of password hygiene and antivirus and those kind of things, blocking the low-hanging fruit, and then working our way up through all of the potential ways that people can get access to you or your data.
And I think one thing, too, that people need to understand is that the password aspect is really important because people aren't just guessing, but there's generators in the background that are just randomly throwing stuff out there. Am I right?
They absolutely can do that. That's not what we noticed that most attacks come through because passwords are getting better and better, but like Darlene was saying about the hygiene, it's really important to have passwords that are lengthy, not necessarily complex, because just putting a 1 on the end of your password is not really actually making it any better. But having much longer password is a much more secure way to do things. And so the what we call brute force attacks that just kind of type in A, AA, AAB, those kind of things don't get that as much as just using the same password for like Facebook or some sort of social media app that's out there that like I want to order this thing and I don't want to remember a new password.
Right.
But if that site gets hacked, they'll reuse those passwords and try everything they possibly can. They'll try to get into your email and your banking information and just hope that something will take.
Right. Dual factor authentication.
Yes.
Right.
How important is that?
Super
Very.
important.
Okay.
It's
Can you
the biggest
can you
thing.
tell the importance and what exactly it is?
All right, multi-factor authentication or dual factor authentication is another step in your password. So I'll type in my username and my password like I normally would, and then a third step, that multi-factor would be a code that would be sent to my cell phone or maybe my email address, but just some other way to know that I truly am who I say I am and that I'm coming from the same place. I know I'm coming from the local area, Quincy, Illinois, that kind of thing. But it's like a second option on top of your password that is almost impossible to break.
How often do you run into certain businesses know they need something like that, but it's an older school business where management and stuff like that's like, I don't want to have that extra step going into these things. It's part of your job is trying to convince them that
Quite a
the
bit,
reason,
yes.
yeah.
Quite a bit, but the cyber liability insurance, that's where that kind of comes in. That's typically one of the check marks in order for a business to even be able to qualify for cyber liability insurance. Multi-factor authentication is one of those things they can't skip. So by and large, we're seeing businesses adopt those kind of things and take on that extra step because the pain of, one extra step versus the pain of trying to survive a breach.
Millions of dollars, yeah, and
Yes.
being down for multiple days on it.
Right.
And you brought up good points. So a lot of cyber insurance companies won't write you if you don't follow their rules and regulations.
Right.
And MFA, multi-factor authentication, could be one of those factors, right?
Right.
Now, is a disaster recovery plan, could that be a part of the cyber insurance type situation?
Yes.
It very much could be, and it's kind of like those bonuses on top of the base levels of security that would, help the insurance companies actually say, yeah, we do want to cover you. We call it business continuity and disaster recovery. BCDR is the acronym for it, but it's just kind of like a plan on if things go down, how do you get back? Do you have good backups? Are your backups more than just like a flash drive you plug into the computer? Or are those backups taken somewhere off-site every day? And what are you doing to make sure that if something were to happen, you can restore quickly and efficiently to get you back up to do your job?
And you mentioned taking it off-site, and there's off-site has changed a lot in the last 10, 15 years of IT, where off-site used to be I'd take my backup tape home and put it in my glove compartment or whatever.
Right.
Now cloud is an option for backup.
Right.
Absolutely. Especially because most people now have high-speed data and fiber. Adam's fiber has
Right.
Affected that a lot. But so off-site backups are much more easily done as well as much more affordable than they used to be. So we use a lot of off-site backup in the cloud, basically
Right.
people would call it.
But I think a lot of people, though, they're huggers. They like to, everything, I have it on site, I can feel it, I can hug it, and then if I put it off site, I want to be able to feel it and hug it. They don't trust, the AWS or the cloud type options that are available to them. And how do you convince them that those are just as secure, maybe even more secure than what they have on site?
We actually have a service that boots that backup up every day. So
Okay.
if, let's say, you were taking it home and putting it in your safe, it sounds like that's secure and it's right there, but do you know? Have you tried to load it? Do you know that the data is actually there? What if it didn't copy over correctly? So we do have a service we use that boots that backup up every single day. And if it doesn't, then our techs basically get called out and they figure out what's wrong.
The biggest issue with cybersecurity is the people.
Yes.
Because people are human, they're fallible, where the technology generally works.
Right.
And that requires training. Is that something you guys offer? I guess you recommend it, but is that something Adams can help with?
Absolutely. One of the things that we do is it's called phishing training, or it provides a level of security for your email that looks at people's mailboxes and takes a look at the email that's in there and tries to identify if it might be spam or phishing or a threat. And it also then, if we quarterly put out a to those companies that subscribe, there's an email that goes out that tries to get those folks to click on a phishing scam, like a $20 gift card to Starbucks or whatever. Those still work, unfortunately, but then it provides training for that person if they did click on it, that quarter, and they're like, oh, they got me, but then they get to watch a little video that shows them, why that was wrong and where they should look and what is suspect in that email, so that next time they get one in that, a lot of people have to respond to their customers, so they can't just ignore email.
Right.
So it gives them a little bit of a background of why that was insecure and what they should look for next time.
And there are some simple things you can look at, whether the email's poorly written or you could check the email address, and if it's, there's just some things that are obvious.
One letter off.
One letter off,
a lot of times.
Right.
Yeah. So how much has this part of Adams grown? Because I know I remember you guys, 10 years ago now, where you're at right now.
Yes.
It's been leaps and bounds for you guys, hasn't it?
Absolutely. Back in the day, probably 9 years
back in the
ago.
day,
Back in
when
the
we
day.
first met, yeah.
We used to have some companies that would come to the Adams Fiber folks that maintain our big fiber network and ask for, businesses would say, can you do my firewall? Can you do this? Can you do that? And I think we did it kind of on an as-needed basis or as a favor to those businesses. But it just got to be such another whole arm of our business now. And we, through acquisition, we added voice over IP. We have that business, and there was a small computer repair shop that we also added. And so that now has kind of taken on a life of its own, which is the Adams Expert side, where we're the business technicians that can come in. We can set up your network. We can set up your computers. We can really own everything from, your voice over IP. So anything that goes wrong within your network, we can, find a solution, help you plan, fix anything that's wrong, help you run smoothly so you can run your business.
Gabriel, I call you guys. I have 5 people I work with somewhere around town. I'm a lawyer shop, whatever. So, hey, guys, I need you to come in and help. I don't know what I need help with. What's the first step you guys go through?
Really just that phone call. When somebody calls in, it's going to be something like, I need to do this thing, whatever this thing is, whatever that business practice is going to be. And then we would do a site walk and then figure out what solutions best fit to what those needs are and how we can best make you, do your job. Because that's what a company wants. It's like, I need to do my job properly. What is going to kind of blend into the background and let me do my daily tasks the best I can.
Yeah, you're the experts in that aspect, where I would be the aspects legal or whatever it happened to be.
Right.
Yeah, okay. Well, thanks for coming in.
Absolutely.
All right, Darlene Schuermann, Gabriel Forrester with Adams Networks. I'm Ron Kinscherf. This has been the Business Spotlight, brought to you by Mercantile Bank.
Your financial needs aren't independent of each other, so your financial advisors shouldn't be either. At Mercantile Bank, our experienced United Wealth professionals are united to serve you and your complete financial planning and wealth management needs. Are you just starting your investment journey or need to roll over a retirement plan? Do you need to plan for a loved one with special needs or for your own life after work? Maybe your business needs a succession plan or you want to enhance your employee benefit programs. Whatever steps you need to take, our United Wealth experts are ready to take them with you. Together, we are united.
Muddy River News. Our home, our news.